Hello, welcome to the compression test session. I'm Harerimana Jamari, the instructor in Geotechnical Lab at Apparatus Kigali. This course will be composed by definition of compressive strength. We will see the procedures from the starting when the concrete is just poured and at the time where you can get the compressive strength for expected value. Compressive strength is defined as the maximum compressive value for the concrete to resist or to withstand on the applied load. For example, if you have a beam and you have the upstanding load, you have to calculate the value of that resistance so that that beam will not fail. For getting the compressive strength, we will take the load divided by the cross-section area of that specimen. So that means we will need to have a specimen of a certain cross-section, then we will calculate the area, then we will look the load at which that specimen will be failed. So from that, when you are saying compression, it is like compressing or force at the same direction. And the opposite from that, it is attraction. Attraction, it is just pushing away from the specimen. The concrete, it is a composition or a mixture of cement, of aggregate, here we can say coarse and fine. Then we add water, so that from that we will get the mixture which is homogeneous without segregation or bleeding. So compressive strength idea is judged from compression testing machine. Now we are going to see which apparatus we will need to complete this task. From the beginning, we will start by showing you the apparatus to be used. First of all, as it is a compression test, we will be needing compression testing machine. This is the main machine we will be using. Because by compression, we will get the compressive strength, we will get the load from this machine. Then, secondly, we will need a concrete mold. This is a concrete mold of cubic shape. From here, we will get the specimen we expected to have. We will need this tamping rod. This tamping rod, as usual, it is used for compaction. So, we will need this tamping rod for compaction. The purpose of compaction is just to remove the voids from inside the concrete so that there will be a very compacted concrete. And this steel float, it will be using just to smooth on the top of the specimen. This mallet will be just used to compact from side, just to remove air bubbles in our concrete. And from this, we will need screwdriver just to tighten the screws so that our concrete will be no leakage. And we will need oil just for our concrete to be just removed from the mold easily. We will just oil process. And we will need a thrower. We will need this sponge just to clean our mold. We will need a soaking tank. Soaking tank is for curing purpose. Curing is actually the process, it is the process of maximizing the moisture for the concrete just to increase its strength. Then, after this apparatus, we will going to start from casting. From casting our concrete. The term casting means making a specimen for a specific concrete so that at the end you will get the specimen to be crushed on a compression machine. First step for casting, we will need these concrete tubes. These concrete tubes, it will be filled with concrete. We will measure the dimension. Inside the dimension, it is 15. Here it is 15. Here it is 15. Then, from this, we will fill the concrete in 3 layers. In 3 layers, compacting and tamping inside to remove air bubbles. So, from here, we can start our process. After mixing our concrete, we are going to fill this concrete mold in 3 layers. That means each layer is approximately 50 mm. And each layer will be compacted 35 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. After the first layer, we will tamp aside just to remove the voids. From here, the voids are full removed. Then we continue with the second layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the second layer. Again, we tap sides to remove voids. Then the third layer, the final one. So, after compacting the third layer, just by using a steel float, we will compact the concrete and smooth the top area. Then we put aside. We continue with the second mold. The same process in 3 layers by 35 times. We tap sides. The same process as before. To remove bubbles. tape side. Voids are full removed. Then we smooth at the top. Then this is the second sample and the last. Then we tape sides. Second layer. Put more. Tapping side. Go to the third one. We smooth by compacting. This is the third one. So after casting, we have different tubes or samples to be tested. I'm going to identify them so that they can differ from S1 as the sample number 1, S2 as sample number 2, and S3. So, after identification of my samples, I have to cover them with a plastic sheet so that the moisture will not quickly evaporate. So, I'm going to cover my samples with a plastic sheet. So now my sample are covered at a safe place. So from this, the following process is just demolding, or to remove the sample from the mold. This process of demolding is done after 16 hours, but not longer than 3 days. From this sample, at that time, we will be having the sample as this. We will be having this kind of sample in mold with just a dry surface. From that time, we remove. Yes. Then you see what we have. This is what we will be having after 16 hours of concrete in concrete mode. We have 3 samples. Demolding from the mold. So the following process, as I said before, it is just curing, because the curing is a very critical and essential step for concrete, so that it can maximize the compressive strength. After demolding, we will be having the tubes in the water tank or soaking tank. So it takes, for example, for 1 day you can test, for 3 days you can test, for 7 days you can test, for 21 days you can test, even for 14 you can test, and for 28 days. Our sample, here we are going to test for sample which have spent 28 days in the water. So I have to remove the concrete sample from water so that it can dry. The same sample removed from water. And the third one. So, after removing our sample from water, we have to wait between 30 minutes and 1 hour before testing. After that time, we will measure the size, we will measure the weight, we will measure the density, we will measure the area, so that we can get the good results.